Like in anything, when you're just starting off, you can expect to make a lot of mistakes. Real estate is the exact same thing because it can be so complicated. But don't let that discourage you from getting into real estate because there's a lot of opportunities. In my previous videos, I've given in-depth details about my first couple wholesale deals. Although these deals ended up being successful, they were certainly far from flawless, but I can expect that from just about any deal in the future. In this video, I want to pull back the curtain and show you the mistakes that I made so that you don't make the same mistakes as I did. My very first and probably my biggest mistake so far is in my first wholesale deal with the lot in Arizona. For those who have seen the video, you know that my buyer was the flipping genius Jerry Norton, which made it even more embarrassing for me. Before I started looking for lots, Jerry had given me guidance on what kind of deal he's looking for. We call this his buy box. I took a lot of notes on his buy box, but it turns out that I didn't fully understand a key piece of what made it a good deal for him. It's important for wholesalers to follow the buyer's buy box to ensure that the buyer gets a good deal. For this deal, I had thought that I had followed Jerry's buy box, but I was missing that key piece. The key piece is broken down as follows. The loan amount is for $81,000 with 6% interest and a 3-year balloon. A 3-year balloon means that the remaining amount in principal is paid at the end of 3 years. With any loan, you have a couple options of how to pay it back. With a loan including a balloon, you have 3 options. Option 1 is that you amortize over the course of the balloon, in this case 3 years. Option 2 is that you amortize over a longer period of time, like 30 years, and pay the remaining principal back at the end of 3 years. And option 3 is that you pay interest-only payments over the course of 3 years and pay the remaining principal at the end of the balloon. Let's break this down even further. In option 1, if I'm amortizing this over the course of the 3-year balloon, the remaining amount at 3 years will be $0. And my monthly payment will be $2,464, which will make the total amount given to the seller $88,704. If we go with option 2 and amortize over 30 years with a 3-year balloon, my monthly payment over the course of 3 years will be $486. And the amount owed at the end of 3 years will be $77,828, which will make a total amount paid $95,324. If we go with option 3 and pay only interest over the course of 3 years, our monthly payment becomes $405, and the amount owed at the end of 3 years remains the $81,000, which was our original principal. This gives us a total amount given to the seller $95,580. Given these 3 options, go ahead and pause your video and determine which you think is the best deal. If you chose option 1, then you chose like me, which is not the best deal. The best deal in this scenario would be either option 2 or option 3. Although both these options require more money compared to option 1 throughout the deal, the monthly payment is significantly lower. And in Jerry's situation, since he wants to build a house on a lot, he wants to have the monthly payments a lot lower and is willing to pay a higher amount at the end of the 3-year balloon when the house is completed. The deal I had set up would have cost Jerry over $2,000 every month over the course of 3 years, as opposed to doing interest-only payments, which would have cost him only a few $100s every month. This was completely brand new to me, but it taught me a valuable lesson that I could carry on for future deals. Luckily, the seller was so motivated to sell the lot that we were able to go back and renegotiate to better fit Jerry's buy box. And in the end, it ended up being very successful. My second big mistake occurred during my second deal, which was a pre-foreclosed house in Jacksonville, Florida. The foundation of this mistake is not fully understanding the market, which as a wholesaler always takes time when going into a new market. We had given an offer to the seller to help them avoid foreclosure and put money in their pocket over the course of the next 7 years. My partner and I felt good about the initial offer and that we would be able to find a buyer pretty quickly. We had eventually gone past our inspection period, still without a buyer lined up, meaning that if the contract was canceled, we would lose our earnest money deposit. Our biggest feedback from other buyers was that the deal was too high of an entry fee and not enough cash flow. I give more detail in my previous video that I'll put a link in the description. Luckily, with the week to spare, a buyer had reached out to us saying he's interested in buying the property with the condition that we lower some of the payments to generate more cash flow on the property. Luckily, these sellers were also motivated to sell their property, so they agreed to the terms and the deal was a success. The key things that I learned on this deal is to always seek clear understanding of whatever market you're wholesaling in. This not only includes the home price, but also insurance, taxes, and property management costs. And you want to compare that to the rental income that the property can generate. Another key thing is that you never want to inflate numbers just to force a deal. This will end up biting you in the butt because every end buyer will see that your numbers are inaccurate. And one thing you don't want as a wholesaler is to have a reputation of someone who doesn't know how to look at their numbers. If you're working on your first wholesale deal and want to avoid mistakes like these, be sure to partner with us with the link in the description below. And if you found value in this video, be sure to smash the like and subscribe button so you can continue to level up your wholesale game.